so happy to be here with my half sisters. My dad's from a village in the West Bank called Helanah.
Viva Palestine.
He's Palestinian, and
so what it's like?
Siha.
What is it like for you both to be half black, half Palestinian?
It's been very interesting. Actually, when I went to the West Bank, the way I would describe the occupation would be very similar to black people here in the 60s. So I think I experienced it in a very unique way, being African American and then going to the West Bank. So I think that gave me a different perspective on it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things there that I've seen, that I had read about, that have happened here, and really wasn't that surprised about a lot of things that I saw, because I realized that a lot of the same methods and tactics are used to oppress people over and over, and it's just kind of recycled. So that was my experience.
When do people ever ask you to choose? Do they want you to choose if you're
of course,
black or Palestinian?
Actually, I just had a situation where I met a girlfriend in San Francisco, and she found out that I was half both, and she was like, "Oh, well, which one are you?" I was like, both. And she's like, well, I mean, which one do you lean towards? And I was like, that's a pretty offensive question.
Yeah.
I was like, you're asking me to box myself, and I can't really be put in a box.
You are a mess.
Obama is my man.
No, I think that's a really valid point too, because I think, like many of us living the majority of your life in the United States, people assume that you identify more with the African American side. For example, all of us have, Arab fathers and African American mothers, and having the mothers raise you and those kinds of things. Like, they're like, oh, are you Muslim? Are you Christian? What do you identify with?
And
for me, it's always been kind of a coming full circle with those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. It always seems like there's a time and a place to
That's true.
Be ready to accept more information,
right.
As you are able to self-identify who you are, and then you become stronger in knowing who you are and who you aren't, and what you believe and what you don't. But people always saying, oh, you must be light-skinned mixed. Mm-hmm. What are you mixed with? Oh, are you mixed with black and white? Like the whole culture identity thing, and the acceptance in the African American community, and then acceptance in the Arab community. It's so complex.
I think one thing that I struggle with is fairly representing both sides of myself to both sides. Mm-hmm. So, when I'm around Palestinians, accurately representing African Americans, and when I'm around blacks, accurately representing Palestinians for who they are. Yeah, so that's one thing that I struggle with, is because you're kind of the link between the two cultures. So
whether you want to be or not.
Yeah, whether you want to be or not, it's kind of, it's similar to minorities that come to this country, and as a minority, you set the standard for the whole minority group. Mm-hmm. Well, when you're a link between two minorities, it's even more complex, because not only are you a minority in your country, in the bigger United States, but then you're a minority within the Arab community and the black community as well.
Mm-hmm. How do you deal with people calling you exotic?
Oh God. The exotification, I deal with that all the time. So from black guys, I get you must be that submissive Arab woman. I know she's in there somewhere underneath all that attitude, And then from Arab guys, I get this impression that they're worried that I'm gonna have too much attitude. I'm not gonna give them what they want in terms of a woman that's peaceful and tranquil. So that gets annoying sometimes.
For me, at least with my career path, being exposed to so many different cultures at such an early age, I guess, And then taking the route of being a translator-interpreter kind of is like an interesting little bit of, curry on top, speaking different languages and then absorbing yourself into those other cultures on top of your internal, multiplicity of identities. Really, not only do other people get confused, but you can sometimes get confused as you, because in order to speak another language, you have to have a particular cultural sense of it, as well as a linguistic take on it. And so that always adds another level of duplicity to the identity crisis, I guess. So that's definitely something I think is interesting.
Well, thank you both for sharing your experiences.